Happy Valentine's Day, my friends. Rener and Eve here at Grace University, Torrance, California. We love each other. You love jiu-jitsu, which means we love you too.
Happy Valentine's Day,
So let's talk love and jiu-jitsu.
Yes. Many people ask us how our jiu-jitsu paths crossed, and what they don't often know is that I came in for my first class with Rener. So my first class was with him. So I basically met him, and he mounted
Our
on top
first
of me
date and our first class was on the same day.
Yes. What I didn't know is that there was some little behind-the-scenes planning.
Right. Absolutely there was. So my sister-in-law, Victoria, Hidon's now wife, I recruited her. I said, yo, Victoria, get Eve in here for a jiu-jitsu class so I can meet her and she can meet jiu-jitsu and me at the same time. And my confidence was if she didn't fall for me right away, she would fall for jiu-jitsu. And if I kept her around long enough, the chokes would get tighter and tighter and tighter. And then eventually we would just hit it off.
Yes, and that's actually what worked. So I fell in love with jiu-jitsu first, and then he kind of grew on me.
Okay, I didn't know it was in that order. Question number 2. In terms of the journey, in terms of the beginning of actually training jiu-jitsu together, people often ask, how is that? And, you know, we've even made videos talking about how to train and coach your significant other. And, you know, we make those videos because we had those troubles. All of them. Every single one we've had.
Yeah, in the beginning, it was interesting because I was so... First of all, I'm trying to impress him, and I also have these high expectations of myself. So I think I had like a lot of hard moments being coached by him, and me having high expectations for myself and just getting frustrated a lot.
Yeah, and I wasn't really helping the case because I loved her so much that I wanted her to be so good so fast. And we've all made this mistake with someone we love where it's like, whether it's a child at a soccer game or, we're yelling at them, do this, do that, do this, do that. And little do we know, we're actually doing the opposite. We're actually ruining it for them by caring too much. And I was certainly, a culprit of that early on. And I just wanted her to be so good so fast for her own safety that I would overcoach. And as a result, she would kind of, distance, and she would say, stop talking to me. Sometimes she'll be rolling and I'll be like, Eve, hand, left, grip, hip, do this. Don't talk to me, shut up.
In a group class.
Yeah. And she would just shoot back and like, same as when I'm at home trying to teach her how to slice the avocado and she bites my hand, I'm like, yo, I'm just trying to help. So if I'm trying to coach my significant other, it's gotta be so careful, you guys.
Yes, we've kind of figured it out. We finally got on the same wavelength when it comes to training together and coaching, and part of it is the energy that he brings, and then the other side is me trying to go in without being so hard on myself, and mostly just trying to have fun in our engagement. And yeah.
And critically, you guys, I cared enough to stop caring so much. That's the lesson I want to share with all of you who are having trouble coaching your significant other. If you've ever tried or failed, that's what it is. Care enough not to care too much. Grow at their pace. Yeah. Remove your ego from the equation, right? Doesn't necessarily need to be the black belt overnight. No, it's just enjoy the journey. It's a marathon. And the fact that we're even training together is a blessing in itself.
Absolutely. Now, what's interesting is you would think that couples who train together are like really careful with one another.
Right.
Like that we're really
it's the
concerned
safest,
for
most
each
gentle,
other's safety. But with us, I think it's the exact opposite. I have never been hurt by anyone more than I've been hurt by Rener.
Well, and to be clear, we're not talking about hyperextended joints.
Okay.
She's talking about random bony shins.
Injuries, but I am constantly like getting bruised, and I'm just like, ow, this hurts so bad. And part of it is because Rener has like the boniest shins and bones.
No one complains about them but her.
Well, that's
my shins are the same every sparring partner. Now either they don't know how to say it or
they just go home and cry. But I
think there's another element. I think there's an element of vulnerability and love, and when you're sparring with and you're grappling with someone that you love, right? That you're a little more like in that playful, loving spirit. That my bones all of a sudden feel much sharper than if we were fighting for real. Like
I think I am a little bit more vulnerable when I train with you, which is perhaps why, but also his bones are really.
And this is not one directional, you guys. Some of my sparring sessions with Eve are the most violent. I mean, elbows and forearms and knees flying. I'm wearing a mouth guard and protection, and like, I'm wearing my ankle brace because I don't know what's gonna happen. And I feel like when she turns it on with me, she turns it on, and I'm like, luckily I know street self-defense, manage the distance, manage the damage, so fish hook, eye gouge, groin strikes, everything's happening. I'm defending against everything. They're coming from everywhere, so it's not one directional. It's not just my bony shins, okay? She's got the elbows also.
Love you.
Okay, so bottom line is be extra careful with one another, and yes, I gotta be more careful with my bony shins, but here's what's crazy. I know it's not just me because she'll spar with Hidon who has exactly the same shins, and she doesn't come home telling me how bony his shins were. So,
there you have it.
Whatever.
Now, we're grateful for jiu-jitsu, one, because we get to train together, but also because jiu-jitsu has tons of lessons that are applied not just on the mat, but off the mat, and this goes for relationships as well.
Yeah, so when we talk about the life application of jiu-jitsu principles, because both of us train jiu-jitsu and we both rely on and embody the principles on the mat, those principles can be applied to our outside relationship because they exist for both of us. Where if only one of us trained jiu-jitsu and had the patience and the timing and the energy efficiency and the understanding of when to yield and right technique and right move at the right time is critical, all of that. If only one person spoke that language, you would have two people speaking different languages in the relationship. But jiu-jitsu is our life language as well as our mat language. And we benefit tremendously from that. One day, if I'm like, yo, it's not the right time to approach a situation or deal with something, regarding Eve, patience. I'm on the bottom of the mountain. I'm going to wait right now. I'm waiting. It's not working out. I'm just defend. Before you know it, a better day, a better time, we approach, we deal with the situation, and it works out perfectly. Communication is key. Energy efficiency, communicating in a way that is efficient and loving every step of the way, and really never losing your cool, right? So always keeping a certain threshold, a respect for a threshold of, if you can't communicate effectively, calmly, and efficiently and lovingly, then you shouldn't do it. In jiu-jitsu, if you can't move safely and technically
without going aggro or being angry or getting over emotional in your training and in your rolling, then you're not going to be effective. And the same can go for communication as well.
There it is, you guys. So couples who are having trouble, I'm talking marriage, boyfriend, girlfriend. If you're having trouble, before you go to therapy with some counselor who's going to try to learn everything about you, sitting with you in a chair, go do jiu-jitsu together. It will save you, okay? And it's probably much cheaper than counseling, to be honest.
No, therapists are great too. So go that route if that moves you. But jiu-jitsu is great, and I believe couples who train together stay together.
Happy Valentine's Day.
My hair.
Your hair.